what Amir has done. I think what Salman manages to do with every film of his, mashallah. But I think this is just scratching the surface right now. What's going to happen is, this is a small little figure I'll tell you. We do have very few theatres.
That's right.
In our country compared to the number of people who would like to. So there is a bottleneck from wanting to supply to the consumer. So there's a bottleneck. There are not enough theaters. That's why films do so well in China. They have like 60,000 theaters. We have about 10 to 12,000 theaters. So the biggest of films, and in spite of that, Dangal has done more than 500 crores, and Tiger Zinda has done 500 crores or whatever. So all these films are actually being able to garner those eyeballs. But the business, like you said, is it going to be 500 or 600? I think the big films are going to be about 2,000 crores. I think if we have enough cinemas, the movies are going to do that kind of business. I think that will genuinely qualify for it.
And that will change the face of it.
It will.
But, I will ask you this. When an actor talks about profits and when he talks about a business venture, is either frowned upon or not taken as seriously. How do you mix the two roles? You are an extremely sensitive actor par excellence, and you then are a very profitable businessman as well.
Not very profitable.
Reasonably profitable.
वरना यहाँ थोड़ी ना आता कहीं पे पैसे खर्च कर रहा हूँ. The genuine truth is that it is an industry. It is a job. And I think the more monies that come into this business, the better films you can make. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting and saying, "Hamari film वैसे क्यों नहीं चलती, जैसे वहाँ की फिल्में चलती हैं." So I think one needs to understand, and I've been very fortunate that the people that I worked with, Mr. Yash Chopra to begin with, and up to now, all the youngsters, they all have this sensibility that we need to make money for this industry to grow, so we can invest it back. Yes, it is frowned upon if a star is just talking about the huge prices that we talk about, and I'm taking it and just taking it home. But if you're taking those earnings, those profits, and putting it back into cinema in terms of technology, and even in terms of investment for making theaters grow, or whatever you may need to grow it, I think then it should not be frowned upon. But I think it's frowned upon normally when, you're an actor, katna price ho gaya. But it becomes selfish in any business to be frowned upon. But if it's selfless and it's an industry, then it's a good thing.
But I will ask you this question. Of late, you've been talking a lot about actors investing back in small films. The ones that go beyond formulas, the ones that are doing very well, and you've been on record to talk about that. I think you've partly answered my question. That isn't the biggest hurdle to films like that the price of stars and actors like yourselves?
No, I've done a film like actually Chak De India was a very low budget film, and the pricing was like that, and they're friends, so you can have a point system of earning. I think big stars should participate in small films, what we call small. I'm sorry, one should not call it small, but differently oriented films which are not in your face commercials. So Dear Zindagi was like that, and I think if well-known good production houses, they come together. Interesting. Jungli Films is doing it with Vineet. So if you are able to invest small monies into more interesting films, so Karan and me managed with Dear Zindagi and Gauri. I think most stars will do small films or films which are less budget, and you can figure out the earnings.